Tiger King, the docu-series on Netflix, has everyone talking, following the lives of Joe Exotic, a former zoo owner in Oklahoma who is now in federal prison, his staff, an animal rights activist, and just about everyone in between. The series may leave you with questions. Joe's husband, Dillion Passage, is here to fill us in. Dillion, it is so good to see your face again. We've been seeing a lot of you out there. The Tiger King has taken on a crazy realm, and you've been doing so many interviews. You know, what is it like being married to the most famous man in America right now?
I don't see Joe as like this famous figure. I see him as Joe, just crazy old Joe, you know? So it's like wild for people to be like, oh, your husband's famous. I mean, he calls himself Joe Exotic. Obviously, he loves the attention.
So how does a young guy in his early 20s meet an older guy who owns his own zoo and goes by Tiger King? Like, how does this come about?
I mean, all gay guys, we meet on Grindr. That's the place. That's the place. So, I mean, Joe sent me one message. It was a really long message kind of explaining who he was. His picture was him with a giant tiger on top of him. And I was like, I got to see if this guy's for real. Then I met Joe, and, you know, he serenades me with one of his songs. And, you know, he's just super friendly. And I like fed off of that energy, kind of, you know? Yeah, from Grindr to karaoke to marriage, just like that.
All within 2 weeks, I understand, right? So you did not even know him, and then 2 weeks later, you're married to the Tiger King.
Yeah, it's kind of wild. Definitely jumped the bullet there, and you know, it's kind of a tragic love story.
So your husband, throughout all of this adventure, winds up in prison. Do you think anybody else who is featured in the docuseries is going to wind up behind bars at some point?
Yes, 100%. A few people will, actually.
From things that you've witnessed, things that you've heard?
Things that I know for fact.
Have you seen a change in your husband since he's been locked up?
Yeah, you know, he does feel bad about the situation. Like, he says that he sees the irony of him keeping animals locked up in cages for so long. But, you know, Joe was working with PETA the whole time. It was kind of a whole front of them being rivals.
Is it true that he's been doing some writing from behind bars?
I think he's finished with the book. He sent it out to a close friend of his, and they're typing it up and working on getting a publisher and editor, and they're going to go from there.
Do you think that he should be in jail at this time, or what's your thought about the whole process?
You know, I mean, that's kind of a tough question because, I mean, the justice system is going to do what it thinks is best, but I definitely think that he was railroaded in the situation. So, you know, if he doesn't end up getting pardoned from, you know, the president looking into his case, hopefully at least he gets a lesser sentence through his appeal. When he heard that the president even said his name, he was absolutely excited about it. When I met Joe, I was at my lowest point in my life. When Joe proposed to me, he said he needed a companion. He told me, he was like, I know, you know, you may not be in love with me, but I think like this could be really good for the both of us. Like, you need somebody who's going to keep you sane and healthy, and I need somebody who is going to stay by my side.
Has a love developed for you guys?
Oh yeah, I definitely, you know, after being around Joe and seeing his true character, which many people don't know because he was Joe Exotic in front of the camera, but behind it he was a completely different person, and I definitely grew to love that person.
And what is your hope for Joe overall? What do you hope for the guy?
You know, I mean, ultimately for him to get pardoned, but, you know, if that doesn't end up happening, then I at least want him to get a lesser sentence because he's not the only guilty party. And, you know, I know 100%, and I have evidence that he was set up. And during his appeal, all of that is going to come out.
What should our takeaways be from this?
Don't get involved with shady characters. That's about it.